Kuala Lumpur remains a major regional hub, relying on a steady influx of foreign talent to power its corporate sector. But in 2026, operating here requires navigating two distinct statutory wage floors running at exactly the same time. Many experienced managers earning 8,500 ringgits a month are currently seeing their employment pass renewals rejected. Compensation packages that were competitive just months ago now fall short of the new legal requirements. High gross pay no longer guarantees legal compliance or operational continuity in the Malaysian market. The underlying issue is the legal distinction between total gross compensation and strictly defined basic salary. Finance and HR teams often bundle housing, transport, and meal allowances together, assuming the final gross total satisfies regulatory thresholds. Managing the 2026 framework requires stripping away all allowances to calculate compliance exclusively against the basic core pay. This basic core determines your standing with both the universal domestic minimum wage and the specific employment pass thresholds for expatriates. Failing to separate basic from gross pay leads directly to visa rejections and criminal payroll penalties. The baseline for the entire Malaysian workforce is the statutory minimum wage of 1,700 ringgit per month. This rate is uniform across every state. It applies to the private sector at large, covering full-time and part-time workers, those paid by piece rate, as well as foreign laborers. Only domestic workers and those in formal apprenticeship programs are legally excluded from this requirement. Look at this sample payslip showing a gross total of 2,000 ringgit. The law focuses solely on the basic wage line. Remove housing, transport, and meal allowances, and the basic core drops to 1,400 ringgit. Immediate breach of law. The employment contract itself must explicitly state the basic figure as 1,700 ringgit or higher to be legally valid. Using allowances to bridge the gap to the statutory floor renders the entire employment contract void. To find the true monthly cost of a minimum wage hire, you have to layer statutory contributions on top of that 1,700 ringgit basic salary. We start with the foundational 1,700 ringgit base. The first addition is the Employees' Provident Fund, an additional 13%. SOCSO adds 1.75%, and EIS adds 0.2%. This brings the true operational cost to approximately 1,997 ringgit. Foreign workers cost slightly less, around 1,796 ringgit, due to a lower EPF contribution rate of 2%. Building financial models on these statutory multipliers ensures that budget forecasting accounts for the actual cost of compliance. Underpaying the 1,700 ringgit basic minimum is classified as a criminal offense. A first-time conviction can result in a financial penalty of up to 10,000 ringgit. Because the fine is levied per affected employee, a single payroll miscalculation can quickly escalate into a massive cumulative liability. Repeat offenders face up to 20,000 ringgit in fines, 5 years in prison, and mandatory back payment of all wage arrears. Minor errors in basic payroll architecture can multiply into enterprise-threatening criminal risk. The second wage floor targets foreign professionals, following the major employment pass overhaul of June 2026. This matrix shows the 3 employment pass categories. In 2026, minimum salary thresholds effectively doubled. Category 3 moved from 3,000 to 5,000 ringgit. Category 2 doubled to 10,000 ringgit, disqualifying previous 8,500 ringgit roles. Category 1 jumped to a 20,000 ringgit minimum. These EP thresholds are gated strictly by basic salary, completely excluding allowances or bonuses. The new rules also impose hard duration caps of 5 years for Category 3 and 10 years for Categories 1 and 2, alongside a requirement for formal local succession plans. Mid-tier expatriate roles are now more difficult to maintain legally and financially than at any point in the last decade. These strict new regulations are the direct result of a deliberate macroeconomic policy. They are rooted in the 13th Malaysia Plan, which aims to significantly reduce the nation's reliance on foreign labor. By doubling EP thresholds, the government is using a pricing lever to reduce the volume of mid-tier foreign workers. This pricing mechanism works in tandem with the succession plan requirement to force the development of local professional capability. Malaysia uses these double thresholds as engineered levers to achieve domestic workforce localization. The immediate strategic priority is a comprehensive audit of all current employment pass holders. Companies must check renewal dates against the new basic salary thresholds to prevent sudden visa rejection gaps. For firms without a local Malaysian entity, an employer of record, or EOR, provides an operational workaround. An EOR manages the dual-floor architecture, handles all statutory deductions, and ensures correct calculation. Beyond the current rules, the next National Wages Consultative Council review is expected around 2027. Success in this environment requires building these compliance buffers into present-day salary planning. Rigorously isolating basic pay from gross compensation remains the only reliable defense against 2026 legal risks. Visit hrstacks.com for the complete AP threshold tables, penalty guidelines, and EOR comparison data.